Welcome everyone to Politically High Tech with your host Elias. In this is episode 231, I am going to be talking about why hardship is good. This is a solo spiritual episode. There's no guests. You get tired of guests and you want to hear more about me? Well, this is the episode for you. This is the episode for you. So I'm going to give 3 reasons why it's good. I mean, generally in this topic, it's not limited to 3, but I'm going to give you 3 very, very good reasons why hardship is actually good for you. So the first reason, it makes you re-examine your choices. If you're aware, of course. Remember I've said in a few episodes, awareness is key. Hardship, if you allow it, of course, makes you re-examine your life choices. Either you could choose to double down on it, or you can make changes. In short, it makes you self-reflect. I'm going to break those reasons down further. That's reason number 1. Number 2, gives you an opportunity to grow, assuming if you pick the latter. Gives you an opportunity to grow, to become more resilient, wiser, stronger. It makes you adapt better to the situation. Because if life was easy, what's the point of learning? What's the point of trying new things? Right? So it can be resilience, adaptability, in short, if you want to put it into more concise wording. And then the third and final reason for this episode is gratitude, appreciation. It makes you want to appreciate more the simple, small things in life. Like the fact that you're living. Trust me, emotionally, you're going to feel the opposite. Believe me, I know. I used to feel that. If you allow it, once again, and awareness being the key, it helps you to appreciate what you have in life and the simple little things like going for a walk, having friends or family, having a job. Things that people tend to complain about and act very ungrateful in general. Or the amount of money you have. Okay, there's some rich people that are very unsatisfied with millions. They want to become a billion, right? I mean, pursuing for money itself is not a problem. It's how you do it. That's where it becomes a problem. If you have to deceive people, hurt people to get that kind of money, that's a problem. If you come with a very good business strategy, execute it, and help people, then it's not such a bad thing. I always disagree with that statement that the money is the root of all evil. I believe, and this is not unique for me, that money is an extension of the person. Money is simply an extension of the person. Because if the person don't have good intent, well, it's going to show. Or if the person just wants to get high a lot, well, that person's going to find a lot more drugs. Generally speaking, I don't want to get too deep here. I don't want to get into the whole rich, nuanced territory. I want to try to keep this short and simple. And so, appreciation, gratitude is the third reason. Remember, once again, it's not limited to these reasons. So, for the comment section, you can add additional reasons why hardship is good. Yeah, get involved. I want you to be involved. If you're listening to this, go join a YouTube or a Rumble. Heck, even Buzzsprout might be ideal for you since you are listening through an audio medium. And then YouTube and Rumble. First one, you call it reflection, examination, introspection, whatever you want to call it. Hardship, if you allow it, makes you look at your choices. It makes you look at it in a more in-depth manner. In general, hardship is going to make you question, is this really the right decision? Do I need to persevere, double down on it, or make some changes? Well, that depends on the situation. If you really want to mend your friendship, for example, you might need to make some changes, especially if the last conversation didn't go too well. Love is pursuing a very hard goal. You might have to think of a new strategy how to reach that. It could be a monetary goal, a health goal, or whatever other goal you have in mind. Okay, just examine your life, and there's no one size fits all here. I understand everybody walk into a unique journey, so solutions are going to be unique. Okay, that's something you need to figure out. Don't expect me to spoon feed you some answers, and trust me, some of you are not going to want it anyways. Okay, and I know when it's in my place to speak, and I'm going to give you a very good example. Don't come to me for relationship advice. I'm single. Don't do that. It's not wise. Yeah, I might have experiences, but if you want to maintain your marriage, don't come to me with that. When it comes to analyzing people, I could give you some tips on that. Or I could give recommendations on On politics, if you lean Democrat, I'm going to advise you one way. Well, I think you should vote for Harris because of ABC, or Trump, you should vote for him because of ABC. Okay, I could give you more political analysis. And what I truly think, I try to separate political analysis, facts, and then my personal opinion. A lot of people are very bad at doing that, both sides of the aisle. Both of them are very, very terrible. But I'm not going to make this episode too political. I'm just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So it makes you re-examine. If you want to repair a friendship, I think you need to approach it with very good intentions and with understanding. Don't expect to change people's minds, at least not overnight, because we like to believe our own stories. Yes, in general, humans are egotistical and selfish. Yeah, it's part of human nature. We like to hear ourselves more than other people. And generally speak, if you're a highly evolved person, if you're a highly spiritual human being, this doesn't apply to you. But I talk to normal human beings, and that's just the vast majority. Okay? So make sure you re-examine those choices. Am I doing the right thing? Do I need to make changes? And sometimes it's just a matter of just keep going. Like a marathon, you can choose to quit in the middle of the race. A lot of people just continue that pursuit till they get to the finish line. And I don't know why I'm giving a marathon example. I'm chubby, okay? Overweight. Maybe I need to do a marathon to lose my weight. So for me, that would be a hard situation. And if you're really determined, you'll keep going no matter how you feel. Look, I know feelings are important in certain times. Yes, I did use the word certain times. But feelings come and go. They go up and down, sideways, scribble, scrabble, all over the place. Feelings are directionless. They are erratic. You gotta override your feelings in some situations. If it's a gut feeling, it's different. But if it's your brain, well, sometimes it's just acting based on past experiences just to protect you. And sometimes it doesn't serve you well. It doesn't serve you well. And self-reflection, introspection, reflection, whatever you want to call it. If you allow it, once again, because it's your choice at the end of the day, this is why I keep saying that, it makes you think deeper and more critically on what you're doing. And there's no one size fits all. Sometimes you need to just double down because you're feeling like crap. Or sometimes you just got to take a step back and continue again when you recover, because you do need rest. Rest isn't, I'm not going to tell you to grind yourself to death. No, not at all. Don't do that. All you're going to do is hurt yourself and eventually get yourself killed if you keep going. Then family's going to miss you. Loved ones are going to miss you. The people at work, they're going to replace you sooner or later. So at least do that for yourself or your family. And it makes you refocus at your priority. You want to spend more time with family? Well, you got to cut down some things. If you want to travel more, you got to change the way you spend your money. Okay, I'm just giving you just simple things. It makes you reflect. For example, you want to travel more, but yet you're going to all these local parts. I mean, by local is within the state or county. Okay, you're spending exuberant amount of money, but you want to go to foreign countries, but yet you're running out of resources. Unless you're filthy rich, then yeah, of course you can do that. But not everyone is filthy rich. So you got to make sure that your actions align with your priorities. So hardship could help you with that if you allow it. And I think I already said enough about the reflection part. That's reasonable. Number 2, growth. Growth that helps you become more resilient, more wiser, more stronger, whatever positive amplifying adjective you want to use in there, it's fine. Or more resilient. As you deal with the hardship again, well, you're not going to be thrown off or surprised like the first, okay? And I'm going to just give another example for me. I volunteer as an usher in this church. This is a growing opportunity for me because normally I am not used to talking to so many strangers, assisting so many strangers at once. But this was an opportunity for me to break down one of the barriers I impose on myself. It served me well when I used to be depressed, but it's not serving me well now because I am no longer depressed, and it's cutting down a lot of social opportunities and opportunities for me to do good. So I volunteer as an usher, and it helped well, and then it amplifies even my strengths as well. Resilient is when I make an error, I turn it into a lesson instead of a personal attack. For example, I forgot to collect a few envelopes. Okay, I just take the people's advice and help right away. And some of the congregation does help me. They just point right there. So they point right there instead of telling me there's a lady there, but I already know what they point. I'm a very visual person, so I could make that connection instantaneously. It's a learning experience because I'll be more up on stage. Sometimes I don't mind being on stage. I'm an ambivert. The reason why I call myself an ambivert is because sometimes I love talking to people. I love being in social environments. And there's just times that I don't want to be bothered at all. I want to be as lonely as a hermit crab. Well, not lonely, alone. I want to be alone. There's a difference between alone and lonely. Lonely is you feel like you're alone and nobody's there to help you, but yet you want to be with. Alone is you want to spend time by yourself to relax, reflect, or take care of your personal tasks. But those are differences between lonely. Feeling lonely means you feel like everybody's against you, or it doesn't even necessarily to mean that. This means that, oh, no one wants to be a friend. Oh, I have to be alone to be safe because people are going to hurt me. People's going to make me look stupid. People's going to make fun of me. People are going to criticize. Oh, some people are just going to criticize no matter what. So you got to learn not to take a lot of people's criticism very, very seriously, especially if they are not in a higher level than you. Like, for example, if a lonely person who does not know how to talk, remember, a lonely person who does not know how to talk in front of the stage is going to criticize you, you reject that one. But if you're hearing feedback from a very experienced speaker, then you take it. And what I'm saying is, when a person's giving you feedback or criticism, you gotta make sure you know who that person is. If that person's not doing better in his or her life, ignore it. That person just has a lot of nerve to say something. He or she should know their place. But, some people are just gonna yap. People are gonna yap. And you just gotta pay attention who is delivering that advice. When it comes to marriage, let's go back to the marriage example. When it comes to marriage advice, you go to someone who's been married for a long time. To me, I'm just gonna give you reasons to probably either dump that person or work it out. But I'm not the best person. I have never been married. Okay? So don't come to me with marriage advice. Horrible stuff. Okay? When it comes to politics and even technology, even administrative tasks, data, I'll be happy to help. More than happy to provide my expertise or advice. Marriage, no. And see, that's me being wiser. That's using discretion. This is why I mention this, because I know when to speak and I know when to be quiet. But you also have to be in the position of the student, the learner, okay? Because if you think you know everything, you just indirectly told everyone that you're an idiot. You don't want to hear it? Yeah, I know everything, okay? That's not a person who's not dealing with hardship well, or it's just a butt. Okay, the other word that starts with an A, but I'm trying to speak more with decorum and cleanliness and decorum to my language, as opposed to being edgy, foul-mouthed, and controversial. Check my older episodes if you want that. Every once in a while, I'll be controversial if I need to. It has to be with reason and necessity. It's not going to be just because I could be edgy. It's a very superficial reason, and sadly, I use it to say, hardship, maybe reflect on that. Back to reason number one, it promotes growth for me to change how I approach people. I found out I could be funny without pushing the envelope. And it also depends on the audience. The audience don't mind foul mouth or controversy. I could go there, but some people don't want that. Some people just want clean humor. Some people's gonna be boring. Humor is subjective, okay? Some people just find me just a foul-mouthed, angry person. Some people just say, yo, this guy is crazy, hilarious. Yo, this guy is stupid. You guys stupid, like, real funny. It's just like, it's urban vernacular, okay? So it promotes growth, willing to change, okay? And remember, that comes with awareness. Because if you're not aware, you're going to stay in this loop. And I don't have to quote the Bible about the Jews wandering around the wilderness for 40 freaking years because they were hard-headed, complained, they moan and whine. You don't want to be that example. You don't want to keep repeating. You don't want to keep doing the mistake loop. Keep repeating that same error, playing the victim card. Look, I get it. Life is hard. I'm not denying that. But it can't be good if it's too easy. You're all going to be a bunch of fat, lazy dummies. And then when the enemy comes to invade, it's going to be easy for them, right? So, and let's get to the third reason. And remember, once again, it's not limited to that. So if you have additional reasons why hardship is good, provide in the comment section. Just provide in the comment section, okay? As for YouTube, Rumble, and Buzzsprout, or even give a review. Give a review through Apple Podcasts. I'll really appreciate it. I know I've been slacking off with that one. So third reason, appreciation. It makes you appreciate. If you allow it, it makes you have gratitude for the simple, small pleasures of life. You're able to walk, to see, maybe have income. Well, that's probably slightly tone deaf. We're still dealing with inflation and potential recession. You should appreciate life. What do you have? Count your blessings. Do you have a good partner that you're married to? Do you have good family members, good friends you can rely on? Do you have a nice house? Do you have good looks? Well, you should all say it to yourselves, even though society may deem you as ugly. But according to you, according to yourself, do you look good? Are you breathing? Are you still able to talk, see, feel, touch, smell? Okay. Do you have a car that's working? Do you have internet? Do you have food? Do you have water? Shelter? Are you able to walk to the park and experience a sample of nature? And then when you're really stressed out, and if you're aware, if you have coping techniques, one advice I could say is go to a park or go to somewhere near a river that has a calming effect. That's my recommendation. Or for some of you, it makes you appreciate that you have good habits. Yeah, why about appreciate good habits? Are you stressed out? Do you meditate? Do you exercise? Right? A lot of us forget to count our blessings. And when we deal with hardship, let's use the self-reflection and the growth we have to do some appreciation, some gratitude. Okay, again, all comes down to awareness and allowing hardship to do that. The opposite is just play the victim. Oh, my life sucks. It'll never get any better. Because you're not doing anything to make it better. You're just in love with the problem. Yes, I know this is tough for some of you to hear this, but you are in love with your problem. You are. Especially those who's been stuck at the same problem for a long time. And for me, and I am just going to use my metric. For me, a long time is 6 months. 2 years. Now, of course, it depends on the situation. But for me in general, it's 6 months, 2 years. Then I even tell a person, you're wasting my time with advice. Go love your problem. And some of them even tell me, oh, I don't love my problem. Yes, you do. Because you've been having the same dang problem for months or even years. All right? Don't tell me you don't love your problem. Don't tell me you do not love your problem. Yes, you do. Okay? The more you appreciate life, you'll realize that life is funny. Life can be wacky. Life is strange. Is it tough too? Of course. But at the end of the day, you can control how you handle it. Except for those who want to embrace victimhood and go on autopilot. Just curse at every single person that looks at you funny. Yeah, it's going to make you look like a real tough person. That's not appreciating life. Appreciating life is seeing, you go recognize the bad, but you don't let the bad take over. I know it's easier said than done, but it's worth it. It's appreciate the good conversations you have with some strangers. Yeah, I appreciate certain conversations that I have with strangers. I do. Certain times I appreciate them more than my friends and family because certain of them provide sage level wisdom. And of course, there are those who speak a bunch of crazy gobbledygook. Use your judgment to discern what is what. Is it valuable advice or is it gobbledygook? Okay. So again, appreciation. And I'm going to throw on the God aspect again. God loves it when you appreciate. Appreciate the trees he created, the mountains, the rivers, the entire earth. Yeah, we humans create something, but for the most part, it's with God's allowance. Actually, no, God just allows many things to happen because of free will, and many people attack God when things are going awry. No, it's because we humans choose to be evil and foolish. God could have been a communist, benevolent leader, just intervene and just stop all of it, but we would have been criticizing God. It's, oh God, you're so hard-headed. You're such a dictator. Learn how to let loose. Trust me, some of us crazy human beings will say that. Yeah. Instead, free will. God helps you when you're truly ready. God wants to help you when you're truly ready and receptive. He's why it's not helping us because we pray with our biased thinking. We want certain answers. We want prayers to go our way. Sometimes he's giving an answer, but we might not like it on how we're receiving it. We might not like it on how we might not like what we're receiving or like the way it's being sent to us. It could be through a friend, I don't know. You have to be in relationship with God to find that answer. And we need to listen more, be more sensitive to the Lord in general. And that's why I'm working. I'm not sure you see any improvements, but if you do, good. And if not, so be it. But at the end of the day, if you want to be with God, it's not easy. It's not, but I prefer it more than by other hardships without the Lord. And you have to be with God when you truly want to be with God. Not because you feel forced, not because of certain situations. All right? And the final thing to appreciate that for especially those who got some spiritual sense that God or higher power exists. Appreciate that, if nothing else. Okay? A lot of people don't get to live. And they bring this to a scientific level. Let me bring this down to a scientific level. And this is going to get a little gross. Let's talk about sperm and ovaries. Okay? When the sperm is being deposited to the vagina, out of millions of sperm that are being sent, only a very few survive. Since you're born, you are the fortunate one. Many of your potential siblings have died in the process. I know it's a harsh way of saying this. Appreciate that you live. If you don't appreciate life, well, of course, it's not going to take things for granted. I mean, Americans, we take our rights for granted, and the government is just stripping our rights away little by little. And this is not a Democrat or Republican talking. It's just the truth. Okay? And since we are ignorant and take our rights for granted, being stripped away little by little. And we need to be more cognizant of that. And we need to vote appropriate on what benefits the people, what benefits we, the American people. And for those of you who are in a foreign country, well, I just hope you do what's good for your nation. That's all I'm going to generally say. Americans, we got to get our act together, because if we don't, we're going to lose our rights. And I want to say eventually the nation. I know that sounds like a right-wing talking point, but there's a lot of truth to that. And trust me, this is not to give Republicans free points, because I've criticized them on a lot of issues. It's like a Dems too. Got my issues with both those parties. I appreciate people in general, and I'm willing to talk to them. That's why I don't have that super critical vitriol, only when things are super outrageous. Okay? And one more thing I want to bring up before I finish is a little side topic. Susan Wojcicki, former YouTube CEO. She died at age 56. From lung cancer. And look, she did many things I disagree with YouTube. Censorship was through the roof. And I didn't like that. I didn't agree with a lot of decisions that she was doing. YouTube is becoming a super corporate company. I mean, I guess that was inevitable. It was more pro-advertisements than pro-creator. I would prefer to be a little more pro-creator, because we do contribute a lot, not just the advertisers. Yeah, you can allow ads. I'm not against ads. The fact that they have done multiple apocalypses, YouTube decided to take a draconian approach against free speech. And I disagree with that. And some information that was censored was actually valuable information during the pandemic. My biggest criticism always goes to Fauci, Trump, social media companies. You're promoting certain ideologies and certain information, but some of that information could actually help people. And let people speak gobbledygook. And let the public decide if those actors are crazy, or speakers, doctors. Let the public decide. No. With that being said, all I have to say to her is, I hope God allows her to go to heaven. I pray for her soul. That's all I can say. I'm not going to make her a villain, because she's not. Google's the alphabet. Now, Google's the parent company. Well, it is Alphabet Inc. That's the company. That's the company name, the legal name. Google runs YouTube. So I will say the Google leadership as well has some part and some blame in that. All I'm going to say is, God rest her soul. Hope the family gets through that tough time. Losing a mother, wife, sister. It's tough for anyone, especially those who are close to her. God rest her soul. God can forgive. So that's all I'm going to say. Alrighty then. Let's wrap this up. So remember the 3 things I've said about why hardship is good. 1, reflection. Makes you see your choices differently. 2, growth. It makes you more resilient, wiser. You're not going to come up with the same approach over and over again and expect a different result. That's the foundational definition of insanity. That was a paraphrase quote of Albert Einstein. Okay? You keep doing the same thing, expect a different result. That's called insanity. And then appreciation. If you allow it, and it can make you appreciate life just a bit more. Because there's always somebody in general that has it harder or crazy. And sometimes they can handle it better. It's because they have gained all that wisdom by self-reflecting, being more resilient, and appreciating. And they have done that more than you. Do not be jealous that they're doing it better. If anything, you should pick up on that advice. It could potentially be life-changing, okay? Appreciate that person's advice, okay? And that's the 3rd and final point, appreciation. Okay? So if you have it too easy, You forget, you complain with one little inconvenient, then one little hitch happens. Okay? You do that a lot. And I'm not trying to call you out. Just give yourself a permission to self-reflect on life. And I'm going to say this, even though I don't know you very well, or not at all, but you matter to God. Yes, you. You matter to God. You matter. And this is the only reason why I am being ready to send this episode. If it touches one life, great. If it touches 10, even better. If it touches 1,000, awesome. If it touches millions somehow, holy believe I am eternally great. Even if I choose to end this podcast. If this ends up being the best episode, so be it. I'm speaking more out of experience and from my heart, okay? So that's all I'm going to say to that. So this is my call to action. Subscribe, donate if you want, and have one-time donation and recurring subscription fees, okay, from $3 to $10. Yeah, I'm not asking for a lot of money. It's entirely up to you. I want to make sure it's voluntary and that you have enough to do other important things in your life. This is if you want to and have extra bucks. Okay? And share this, comment, like. That will help the algorithm just to spread this episode to others. So I gotta keep it as general as possible and as simple as possible. With that being said, so from wherever you listen to this podcast, you have a blessed day, afternoon, or night.